All right, in this training video, we are going to go over managing multiple websites at the same time. So how do you do that? Like, what's the strategy? And there's a couple ways to do it. It depends on how many websites you have and what you want to track through the Google Sheet. So there's a couple ways to do it. Just just to set the record straight, you need to have this sheet. You'll notice at the very bottom, it's named BB Max, and the code is looking for that spelling in this particular sheet. So, for example, if you duplicated this sheet and made a copy of it, and then you renamed it to something else, like maybe you've got a bird website. Like, you can do this, and then maybe this one you rename to something else. Like, you got one about dogs. So the problem right now is if I run any of the code, it's not going to work. Like, you need to make sure this is just named BB Max. So what you can do is you can just rename this when you go to run it. So the dog one, you would just click rename, and then you would just remove dogs. And then this way it would run again. So that's one way to create multiple or to track multiple websites. So, for example, if you you have your WordPress information here, you can duplicate the sheets, right? And that's fine unless you're trying to track what work you've done. Like, if you've been building out different core keywords and you want to keep track of those keywords and company information, and you want to track it a little bit better, I have a system that can allow you to do that. And there's also another way. We've got a master sheet where you can every row is just a website, and that may be an easier way for you. Like, maybe you don't care about tracking all these details. You really just want one tab with the name, and you just want one master list of all your websites, and you can apply them as needed. So there's a couple ways to do that. So our team, I've got a team that manages websites for me, and we have a couple ways we do it. What I do is I create multiple tabs like you see here, and then we just rename it back to we're using Neuron Writer. So we have like 4 different tabs. They all are right now using this knowledge document, and we're writing about products. And so every tab is a different product. And then we're basically writing for the same website. So we duplicate these. Now, when you're running this sheet, because it's looking for BB Max, you can only run one sheet at a time. So let's say I wanted to run the bird one at the same time as my dog one. Well, how would I do that? So what you'd have to do is you'd have to go to File, make a copy, and you would just open this up into a new copy into your window. So I would just make a copy of this and click make a copy. And then with the new version, the new Google Sheet, then I would just rename this to BB Max for the birds. And that way I could have one tab running dogs, one tab running birds, and then you can run them both at the same time. So you can run multiple Google Sheets at the same time. You just have to make sure you create a copy, and then you can do it. I've had up to 5 different copies in my browser, and I'll run 10 or 20 in one and 10 or 20 in another. And that way I was able to help 5 different businesses. I generated probably close to 100 articles in maybe a couple hours, and it was easy to do that way. So there's some options there for you. But I have a new system that we can try that could simplify this for you. So let me delete the bird one. So underneath your options, you now have presets. So you can save all of your different website information in these presets. And it's a pretty flexible system. I'll kind of walk you through how it works. So there's two different Google Sheets. One is a BBMax config, right? So this is just going to track one website at a time. So all of your information would go into row 2. Then you can type in, the website information, things you're trying to focus on. If you have like a little to-do list that you're trying to track for your team, and then maybe you've got core keywords, like you've done some research, like these are the words that you want to focus on, and you're going to build clusters of information under them. Like, there's a few ways to approach keywords and building out content. So this you can add one website at a time into these. So for example, I've got BBMax preset config, and then maybe I want to duplicate this and I want to rename it, and I want this one to be for the birds. So I'm going to name it bird, and just make sure again you maintain this original name, BBMax preset config. And what will happen is all of these that you're duplicating are going to show up in the menu over here, and then maybe this one you rename, and this one's about maybe this website that you're working on is about dogs. And so once you have all this built out, you can just create as many as you want. We can rename not rename. We'll duplicate this one. And there's a little bit of work up front, but once it's done, it's easy to copy this over to other sheets in the future, like very, very easy. So maybe this one's about cats. And you don't need to rename these. Like once these are set, as long as you have BBMax preset config in the tab name somewhere, my code will pick it up over here. Now, right now, you'll notice it's just showing the one it created. But if I refresh this, so I'll click back to the BBMax menu. And then what we'll do is we will refresh it. So we'll open up these options. We'll go here to configure presets and open this up. And now you'll notice that all of those are in the dropdown now. We've got the original, then we've got the bird, the dogs, the cat. So all of that's there. And from there, you just select one. And what it will do is it'll load in all the available fields that you can fill out. Alternatively, if you've already been working on a BBMax sheet, you can just import all the settings that you have from your sheet. Click import BBMax, and it'll populate all of these fields for you. See that? It just pulled it all in. And then at the bottom, you can just say save to your file, the one that you've selected here, this BBMax preset config. So click OK. And you'll notice if I go back, all of that's been filled out. So now moving forwards, if you just come here and select BBMax preset config, I can go, I'll review all these fields, but then all I have to do is click apply to BBMax at the bottom. So it's easy now. So like here, if I wanted to do something about puppy training, I put in this keyword and I can come down, I can save this to my file. You'll notice it now added that keyword, but then I can also apply it to the BBMax sheet. So if I come back to the BBMax sheet, you'll notice that the keyword is now in place. And if I had, any of my WordPress or Shopify details, all of that's going to be auto-populated, right? And so you can have a whole bunch of these drop-downs now. I just click the bird one, it would load it up. If I had details here, then I would just say, save, I'd say apply to BBMax, and then it applies it. And then I just start building more content. And then underneath your sheets, you can keep track of keywords you've already done. You can create priority levels for yourself. But maybe you don't want to track individually like this. You don't need to track all the keywords. You want to keep things maybe a little bit simple. You also have this just master list here, and right now it's empty. So there's a couple ways to do this. You'll notice there's a second drop down called master preset. So if I click on add new, I can come down and I can do it this way, or I can do it directly in the sheet. So I could add in, Sean, and then dog training, language you can leave open. I'm going to do this. And, maybe I just want to give some values here for my domain name, domain.com. The user is myself, and then password's just random. And there we go. So that's in there now. But let's say, I want to use this menu just to populate a bunch of them, right? You could use it as well. Like you can do it here. I made it optional. You don't have to use this. But let's say I did this, and I did, this is for maybe this is for my cat website. I named it Sarah, but cat website. You can name it whatever you want, then come down and cat.com, user cat, and then, give it a random password. And then from here, I can click save to master preset. So this will save it. There we go. So we added an entry here. So a couple ways to do it. You can either do it directly in the sheet, which is probably just as easy, or you can use the fields to do it. And then here you can see now they're available for you. So if I click on Sean, it's going to load up those options that I added, right? You can see them here, and then apply master preset. This is going to apply it to the BBMax sheet. So I'm going to come through and just add it to the original BBMax sheet. And you'll see here, it's all in here now. So we got domain and then what I typed in. So, if you've got, and in that way, I won't need all these individual preset configs. I think it just depends. Like, it's up to you, like how you want to track your effort. If you only have 3, 4, 5 sites, it might make sense to have these individual sheets, and then you can track all of your keywords, your effort. You can, keep track of yourself over time. Like as you move along and you get into a few months down the road, it might be nice to like have this data for yourself. Like, what you did, and you can keep track of things. You may not need this, and you may just do like a master. So if you don't need these, you can easily delete this stuff. It's if you have a sheet that you that pops up, because when you open up this menu, it'll auto create 2 sheets for you. Just simply hide the one that you don't need. So if you don't need this BBMax preset config, or you don't need the master, you can just right click and hide sheet, and that way it's just hidden. So for example, if I go back to the main menu and we come in one more time, you'll notice that it's going to create that BBMax preset sheet because it's missing. So here we go. So see how it got created. But let's say I don't need this, right? I don't need to create it every single time. So just come here, right click, hide sheet, and it's in the background now, and it won't be hidden. Now, if you want to see this stuff, you can go to view and then go to hidden sheets, and you would go through and show the one that you have hidden. But right now, if I go back and I just need the master preset with all of my different, I'm tracking all my websites. Now, when I come here, it's not going to create a new sheet. Like it's already been created. It's just hidden. And then from here, I'm just going to use this master to keep building stuff. I think it's just as easy to come through and build out, everything you need. Here, you can just keep adding more and more sites, as many as you want. I mean, if you've got 100 sites, it can all be added here. And if you don't have to put keywords here. Like, all these fields are optional. It's up to you how you want to fill this out. But if you have a bunch of, that's funny. If you've got websites, you just want to make sure that you populate them all in here. So I'll come through and populate all that. And I'm just filling in data for now, but I want you to get the idea. So I've got all these different websites. They're all going to show up in this preset here. So if I click back, and it always loads up this BB Max. That's just a part of the automation of making things pop up. But if you come back to the presets, and you come back here to this master list, so you'll notice now everything is available in this drop down that you created. So it's very easy for you now to click on whatever website you have as like pre-populated data, and then just click apply master preset, and that'll automatically update your BB Max sheet. And this may be all you need. Like if you've got 10 sites, 5 sites, and you just want to keep track of your user login information for all your sites, you could add it here. And then all you have to do is from the drop down, pick the one you want, and then make sure all the fields look right, and then just apply it to BB Max, and then just start building. And that makes it so you don't have to come in and cut and paste and manage all of your WordPress or Shopify stuff every single time. Like it's all organized. It's easy for you to apply what you need. And you could rapidly do that. For example, you have this keyword here. So regardless of what's in this master sheet, you could name this, whatever you want. Like if hey, today I got to work on puppy training for this particular website, or maybe a cat website. And I'm going to do, kitty potty training or litter. I think, kitty potty training. So I'm going to train my cat. So you can just type in your keyword there, go down, apply the master preset, and then it's just going to update this, right? So now you can see, let's see, cat. Oh, interesting. I think it did apply. So yeah, it looks like you need to, it looks like my code right now, you have to save the preset first and then select it again, and it should populate correctly now. There we go. And then we'll apply it, and that should do it. There we go. That worked. I always forget sometimes, we can modify the code so that you can just type in what you want and it'll go. But you can see it's very easy. All I had to do was save it and then apply it. But you can see here, like from this menu, I kicked off, this is the core keyword I'm gonna start with, and then from here I can build a silo and just get on with it. So this is just a very, very easy way for you to manage hundreds of websites. If you want to, if you're trying to create code or trying to create output for maybe 100 websites, all you have to do, because you have this master preset in place, just go up, create a copy, and you could have, say, 5 tabs up and going, and you could start running all of them at the same time. And, if you max out your free Google account, because these accounts really can only generate so many API calls with the free accounts. Just create a new Gmail account. So maybe you have 2 Gmail accounts, and just create a copy of this sheet. So you have all your master list. You apply the websites you want to work on, and you can start scaling out from there. So hopefully this makes it easy for you to manage a whole bunch of websites and start producing content around them. And I think this system, you'll see, will allow you to do, 5 to 10 websites at a time, where not many tools that I know of allow you to build at the same time across a whole bunch of websites. Usually it's one at a time, and it's a little bit slower. So if you have multiple tabs open or multiple Gmail accounts, it'll all go. And if you run into problems with your AI account, you can also create multiple AI accounts. So you really aren't necessarily limited. You just have to create enough accounts to handle the volume that you want to do. So it really depends on volume. Like if you're only going to do 100 to 500 articles a day, and that's pretty big for a lot of people. Like you may only need uh, 2 Gmail accounts to pull that off, but there are people that want to do 1,000 or more a day, and you may need to have multiple free Gmail accounts or a paid one, and you may need to use multiple OpenAI accounts, or you may need to use just different AI accounts to make it all happen. However, with this system, you can make all that happen and do it for cheap. I mean, we're talking pennies an article to make all this happen. And most systems aren't going to allow you to do that. So hopefully this all makes sense. If this feels a little confusing and you want to go through a demo of how to make this happen for you, let me know. I'm happy to jump on a Zoom call and talk you through, what you're trying to organize and how you can use this effectively to really scale out and manage a bunch of your own websites or clients or however you're doing it. So anyways, hopefully you appreciate this preset config functionality. I think it's going to be really, really helpful for us all to work on multiple sites and scale together. So, all right, enjoy. Cheers.